You are Locked On Knicks POSTCAST, part of Locked On Sports New York on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
All right, amazingly, the Knicks have not been great at home during these playoffs. More evidence tonight, and it was an ugly one. Pacers beat the Knicks in Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals, 114-109, and now the Knicks are in an 0-2 hole heading back to Indy. And a big reason why, Pascal Siakam, a playoff career high, 39. He pumped in 39. Jalen Brunson, meanwhile, had 36, but again, not enough. Siakam and the Pacers, again, head back to Indy, up 2-0. Here we go. Hello, everyone. I'm Jay Berman. If you're a New Yorker, you might recognize my work. If not, welcome aboard. I've spent more than 2 decades in the biz, everything from TV to web to radio. Glad to have you. Please follow me on X as well, at Jay Berman, Jayberman. Welcome to the Locked On Knicks postcast, both on the Locked On Sports New York YouTube channel and the Locked On Knicks podcast feed. The postcast gives you a place to hang out after every single Knicks game. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Also want to let you know today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. And without further ado, here we go.
This is what you'll be talking about.
All right, so the Pacers up 2-0. It was a close game. It might as well have been a one-possession game, certainly the way these playoffs have been going for the Knicks. They've been close throughout. They just could not get over the hump. As we said, the Knicks now in an 0-2 hole after Pascal Siakam really played the game of his life, pumped in 39 to lead all scorers, including the first 11 Pacers points put up by Siakam. He had 23 in the first half, and again, 39 for the game. 15 of 23 from the floor and hit 3 3-pointers as well. Again, an all-star type of night for Pascal Siakam. As for the Knicks, Jalen Brunson had 36. He was 13 of 27 from the floor, so obviously not efficient, but he could not get the Knicks over the hump. Brunson was there, making plenty of jump shots down the stretch. But again, the offense, really the combination of the offense of the Knicks and their poor defense down the stretch of Indiana's offensive game in the fourth quarter, well, it proved to be costly for New York. Now, the Knicks had 4 scores in double digits. Mikal Bridges had 20. Karl Anthony Towns had 20. OG Anunoby had 16 and obviously 36 from Jalen Brunson. But what the bench of the Knicks could not do is exactly what the bench of Indiana did, specifically several players. TJ McConnell, who played just 14 minutes, he was everywhere and made everything happen in the second half. So kudos to him. Again, amazingly, after looking at this box score, he only played 14 minutes. He seemed like he was in there forever. He was 5 of 8 from the floor. And what's interesting about McConnell's game is it didn't really seem like he was at least putting himself in a position to shoot. It was almost like the Knicks were daring him to shoot, daring him to pass, daring him to drive. And every single time they did that, he stepped up and got the job done. So he proved to be a real pain tonight. Again, he played just 14 minutes, but scored 10 points. Miles Turner played 33 minutes, had 5 big baskets. He had 16 points. Tyrese Halliburton, who, of course, is public enemy number 1 after the way things went down in game number 1. He did not score a point until 2 minutes remaining in the second quarter. So essentially, he went the entire first half without scoring. Halliburton finished with 14, but he had 3 3-pointers. They all were key. Anyways, he was the enemy in game number 1. Pascal Siakam was certainly that in game number 2. Siakam had 39 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal, and only 1 turnover. Meanwhile, all 5 starters, as we said, for Indiana were in double digits, and now they've got a 2-0 series lead. We talked about those one possession games. There's been plenty of them. Now, this was not a one possession game officially, but it might as well have been because it was tight down the stretch. And the Knicks, again, just could not get over the hump. 7 one-possession games in the playoffs. This does not count as one of them. Point being, Knicks might be tired now. And we're not going to get into the minutes police situation. But, and it's interesting tonight because Mikal Bridges played 45 minutes while both Karl Anthony Towns and Josh Hart played fewer than 30 minutes. 28 for Cat. Josh Hart had 29. Very interesting, I guess, machinations when it comes to how Tibbs used his reserves. Again, 3 guys came off the bench. 2 of them played over 25 minutes. Deuce played 25. Mitchell Robinson played 29. Also, Campaign came off the bench for 9 minutes. Anyways, point is, the Knicks shrunk their rotation down to just 8 guys. Really 7, because Campaign only played 9 minutes and did not score a point. But Mitchell Robinson, effective when he needed to be. As soon as the Knicks needed offense, it was time to take Mitchell Robinson out. And that, unfortunately, is an advantage for the Pacers. When they know Mitch is in the game late, in a tight game, when points are needed, he's just not a guy you're going to run through. In fact, the Pacers started to do it late. They started to put Mitch on the line. And, of course, barely makes any free throws. So, again, what I found interesting is that lots of Knicks fans, at least on Twitter, and obviously you take that with a grain of salt, but on Twitter, on X, lots of Knicks fans clamoring to get Mitchell Robinson into the game, if not as a starter. Well, the second half of the game, those same Knicks fans wondering where Mitchell Robinson was, well, they didn't want him on the floor anymore. So it just goes to show that things can be testy, things can be tenuous, things can be strange, and they were all of those things tonight. Again, as the Knicks now have an 0-2 hole staring at them. Believe it or not, there was a lot of game 2 that looked like a lot of game 1. The start, for sure, an amazing start for Siakam. And the Pacers, if you recall, hit their first 9 shots in game 1. So, again, a quick start. Knicks were down double digits in the first quarter. And you figured, oh, they're going to get run out of the gym. Well, not these Knicks, at least not these first half Knicks. And so the Knicks stuck it to them, and they played tough. However, talking about tough, the Pacers have now won 6 consecutive road playoff games. Folks, they did so against Cleveland, 3 road wins in that Cleveland series. They've already got 2 in this Knicks series, and we've only played 2 games. They've got home court advantage. They're heading back to Indy. By the way, Indianapolis 500 on Sunday, obviously before Knicks Pacers, but fun sports day in Indy. Anyways, Pacers went 6 minutes without a field goal in that first quarter after jumping out to a 10-point lead. So again, riding that roller coaster of emotions, if you will. Now, we told you about game 1. There were 4 separate 30-point scores. Obviously, the defense was better. Not as many shots taken, not as many shots made. And the Knicks and Pacers combined to chalk up just 2 30-point scores tonight instead of the 4 from game 1. Obviously, Siakam had 39 and 36 for Jalen Brunson. All right, the Knicks are in a very tough hole, and we've got some facts to prove it. Obviously, when you lose 2 games or 2 consecutive games to start a best-of-7 series, you're going to be in trouble. We'll tell you just how much trouble the Knicks are in when we return. All right, the NBA playoffs are in full swing, and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live. With player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays, Fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. If you've got a read on who's heating up, well, back it up with a same-game parlay, one of my personal faves. New to FanDuel? Well, it's the perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com, place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right, we are back. As we said, very interesting numbers to go over, and they're not good if you are a Knicks fan, and that's not much of a surprise considering they're in an 0-2 hole, and both those games, both those losses coming on home court. But again, before we get there with these numbers, let's do this.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
All right, didn't take very long to come up with this one. Pascal Siakam, 15 of 23, missed just 8 shots tonight. 3 3-pointers, had 39 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, only 1 turnover. By the way, 10 turnovers for Indiana, 12 for the Knicks. It just seemed like in the second half, and they usually do, but it just seemed like in the second half, those turnovers were killers, absolute killers. The Knicks did a pretty good job on Aaron Nesmith, silencing him considering what he did in game 1. Miles Turner, not much of a presence inside, did score 16 points. But again, Indiana is similar. We'll call it similar as the Tatum-less Celtics. And I'll tell you exactly what I mean. Derek White, well, that proved to be TJ McConnell tonight. He was Derek White all over again. Pascal Siakam turned into Jalen Brown from last year during the postseason when he had his tremendous run. So again, lots of Pacer-like tendencies, bringing up memories of round 2 against the Celtics. Obviously, when Tatum got hurt, things changed. But again, TJ McConnell played the Derek White role. Pascal Siakam played the Jalen Brown role. It was really, really, really interesting stuff. And again, the Knicks are not done, but the math is not good. The Pacers are 9-0 all-time in a best-of-7 series when they lead 2-0. The Knicks, all-time in a best-of-7 series when they've dropped the first 2, 0 for 14. They have never come out of an 0-2 hole. Also, teams that led the conference finals 2-0 are 76-6. So, again, math is against the Knicks. History is against the Knicks. And quite possibly the end of the season coming up soon. As we said, the minutes police, nowhere to be found, except for one interesting tidbit about tonight. And that is that in a close game that was close from beginning to end, 2 of the Knicks' best players were nowhere to be found. Cat played under 30 minutes. Josh Hart played under 30 minutes. In fact, Josh Hart took 3 shots. 3 shots, 6 points. So again, it tells you all you need to know about the kind of night the Knicks had when Josh Hart and Cat were nowhere to be found in the fourth quarter. All right, 114-109, the final score. As we said, the Knicks now 3-5 at home during the playoffs, which is just amazing. They lost to Detroit twice at home in the first series. They lost to Boston once on their home court in the second series, and now they've lost twice already. So again, 3-5 at home during the playoffs. Thankfully, because you also play games on the road, the Knicks have been very successful on the road, and obviously doing what they did, or at least what the Pacers did to them, the Knicks did to the Celtics in the second round, stealing the first 2 on their court. So the Knicks will try and do what the Celtics couldn't do in the second round, and that's bounce back after an 0-2 hole. Thanks for making Locked On Sports New York your first listen today. For your second listen, check out Locked On NBA Game Night. Every game, every night until an NBA champion is crowned. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find NBA Game Night on Locked On NBA on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Also want to mention our partners in crime over at Locked On Knicks. Gavin Shaw and Alex Wolf. Again, they handle all the stuff at Locked On Knicks, so follow, subscribe, and enjoy. All right, as for Game 3, that will be Sunday night. As we said, busy sports weekend in Indianapolis. You got the 500 on Sunday, and you've also got Knicks Pacers. That'll be Game 3 again, 8 o'clock tip from Indianapolis Sunday night. Game 4 will be Tuesday night, also an 8 Eastern tip time. Game 5, if necessary, would be Thursday. Game 6 next Saturday, and Game 7 the following Monday. But again, the Knicks are in an 0-2 hole. They've never climbed out of an 0-2 hole in a best-of-7 series. Let's make that happen now. Let's see if this can be the first Knicks team to do it. Pacers will try and make them the first Pacer team ever to blow an 0-2 best-of-7 lead in the playoffs. Again, 114-109, the final score. Pascal Siakam was brilliant. 39 points. And again, the Pacers have a 2-0 lead over the Knicks. All right, on to Indy. And again, we'll be with you immediately following game number 3, which of course will be Sunday night.